Hey guys, welcome back to the Cool Classic Kid Show. And today we gotta talk about Concord because, man, if this is true, if these reports are true, PlayStation is cooked, bro. Eh, PlayStation's cooked. This is their mindset for the future of the brand. PlayStation needs to veer away immediately, because damn, this news is it really goes to show just PlayStation has completely lost touch with their consumers and just what gamers want. But this is from the Video Game Chronicles. Sony's Concord reportedly cost $400 million to develop. And they're saying specifically to develop. So this is what I'm assuming is before marketing. And, supposedly. And he said the game was reportedly referred to as the future of PlayStation internally. Ooh, that is disgusting. Ugh. If you thought PlayStation's mindset was off, this really puts a lot of things into perspective as to their thought processes. But to continue here, guys, PlayStation's recent delisted first-person shooter Concord reportedly cost $400 million to develop. That's according to PlayStation podcast Sacred Symbols, which claims that the game, which was recently taken offline by PlayStation just after 2 weeks on sale, was referred to as the future of PlayStation internally. And Sacred Symbols is a podcast run by Colin Moriarty and crew. And while honestly, Colin Moriarty is a bit of a pony shill, but his mindset has certainly changed over the years. I used to like Colin. I used to think that he had some good takes. I used to think that he was kind of reasonable, but I feel as though he's definitely kind of gone in the bag for defending PlayStation through these tumultuous periods in which they're trying to veer off into doing other things, like Concord as the future of the brand. And he has definitely not done his due diligence in calling it out. Matter of fact, he's more than anything defended it. But Sony offered refunds to all players who purchased the game. The report also claims that a culture of toxic positivity shut down any potential backlash of the game's direction internally. And this is, dudes, you can't tell me that toxic positivity didn't didn't lead to this game's downfall. I'm sure that the reality is that this game is protected by what it's representing. The whole pronouns nonsense, all that stuff, trying to, this fake diversity narrative that really is disrespectful to true diversity. All this stuff is like a protective shield to criticism toward the game. And I'm sure on the developer front, they can't really say like, "Hey, if we do this, this game is gonna fail," because, well, they'll be deemed, some Isterphobe term. They may lose their job. That kind of stuff. You just kind of say, "Well, I'm gonna shut up and just do my job because I don't want to lose my job. I don't want to lose my." I understand. Like, I get that. So if you're not allowed to speak against this ideology that's being forced into the game because you will be looked at in a negative light, your character will be judged. Like, you can't have honest conversations about if you think this game is going to fail. And really, I feel as though from that level alone has led to Concord's failure. They introduced this ideology into the game. If people call it woke, people call it whatever. But this social political ideology that is being protected into the game, and people can't criticize it. People can't say, well, if we do this, there is an insane group of people, like the mass majority of gamers are going to laugh at this game and say, fuck no. Because the moment you introduce pronouns to the game, immediately a whole slew of gamers are going to, whether, and I'm trying to be objective with what I'm saying here, whether the game is good or bad. Say if the game is good and it happens to feature pronouns, right? Then it's automatically going to make a huge subsector of gamers say, nope, fuck this, I'm good. I'll pass, even if the game happens to be good. So why include that to purposely, purposely just turn off gamers from your product. A whole slew of potential customers, really potential gamers to support your game. And really, a lot of people have been saying, well, the price point is what turned people off, the fact that it's a clone of whatever. Like, look, man, you made a lot of people disinterested in this game just just based off the fact that you're pushing pronouns, you have ugly ass characters, that kind of stuff off rip, I think is probably the real stab to the heart, really. Everything else is just fatal, that's the fatal shot, and then everything else is just kinda like that just adds on to the already fatal shot. And really, when it goes down to it, if from a fundamental standpoint of the developers speaking honestly about the game, that, isn't gonna happen because their financials are at stake. And then, well, when it comes to these journalists, these game journalists, it falls in line with their ideology, so they're gonna protect the game. It is what it is on that front. And they said, and they go on to say the game's director reportedly stood down last week, according to Kotaku, citing three sources familiar with the move. The publication says Ellis was emotional when initially speaking to staff after the game's launch, when it was clear that it was going to be a major failure. Ryan deeply believed that the project and bringing players together through the joy of it, one former developer told Kotaku, regardless of there being things that could have been done differently throughout the development. He's a good human and full of heart. Oh man. Earlier this month, Sony announced plans to take Concord offline, pull the game from sale, and offer refunds to all players who bought it just 2 weeks after launch. The news followed reports that the PlayStation 5 and PC game may have sold as few as 25,000 copies, according to both platforms, since its release on August 23rd. Concord fans have been listening closely. We've been listening closely to your feedback since the launch of Concord on PS5, PC. And what fans? What fans? 25,000 copies? I want to thank everyone who joined the journey aboard the North Star, Ellis said at that time. Yeah, so the reality is, man, you made a game for nobody. You made a game for nobody, and not even just that, you made a game that specifically um is specifically made to turn off the mass majority of gamers. Like that's what it is, bro. I don't really know what else to say. I'm not surprised by this at all. But if you have a place of work in which your workers can't be honest about your product because you introduced a political ideology to it, that if they don't fall in line with, it's their ass. Yeah, you're gonna get more failures just like Concord. And I think that this is an issue across the industry. There's been reports that Ubisoft, for example, has also, is dealing with their company that pushes political ideology just like this. So yeah, if the companies that are behind, all this, they're pushing all this, obviously developers who may know better, like, hey, this isn't going to do well, they can't speak up. So that's why these games are going to fail. And honestly, if PlayStation thought that Concord is the future of their brand, they really need to reassess themselves, because being this fundamentally fucking lost with what you're doing in the future, what direction you're going in, this is not good for anybody. It doesn't even matter if you're just a PlayStation gamer. PlayStation represents so much of gaming. And that's why I'm hard on PlayStation when they F up like this, because, they are an important fundamental part of making gaming what it is today and bringing gaming to the future. Whether you like PlayStation, you hate PlayStation, whether you value them as a company or not, they are important in pivoting the industry in whatever direction it plans to go to. So for them to be this lost and thinking Concord is the way to the future, That's not good. That's not a good sign. And a lot of these companies are taking flat out L's and they refuse to acknowledge the reality of the situation and why they took those L's. They'll blame everything else, but just being honest and saying, yeah, putting all this fucking ideological bullshit in our games is it's not doing well at all. It's not doing well. Maybe you'll have one or two games that manage to see, manage to be good, manage to be supported because maybe they are good despite having the ideological bullshit in it. It's possible, but it's unlikely more often than not. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think about this. $400 million to make Concord. Oh man, I wonder what was the price when it was all said and done in terms of marketing and whatnot, because that game doesn't look like they even put half that much money toward it. I don't know what they were thinking. Maybe what I'm assuming is, and what I said from jump, was that they were planning for Concord to be a live service that was going to go on for years. Because originally they weren't going to offer all the free shit for buying the game that they ended up offering Concord. They saw the reaction people had to Concord and was like, well, let's just drop our live service model that we had initially planned and give the potential buyers all this stuff by just simply buying the game. They had to make that adjustment. And that's what I think was the case, but I'm definitely thinking they were planning for Concord to go on for a decade, like Bungie thought Destiny would. And there's a lot of sus devs under Sony right now. Oh my god. When you really break it down, ugh, man, I can only hope that Sucker Punch and some of these other guys haven't been affected by the fuckery Sony bend, because they're good developers, man. I just hope that they haven't been infested by stupid fucking woke mind virus and bullshit. But let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below, guys. If you can, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Follow me over on Twitter if you'd like to continue the conversation. My new Twitter account is at Mario Kart. My last one got suspended, so follow me there. And yeah, consider becoming a channel member. A simple 99-cent membership can get you instant access to the Discord, emotes for the Thursday night stream. The stream that I just had last night was insane. Thank you all so much for showing up. And you guys, well, I've been being said, I'm out. Peace.